Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very interesting, and sorry for your loss of Lizzie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Dr. Sue Chan. I'm here to ask the committee to take a closer look at the way the vet board manages its business, and in particular, attempts to make only veterinarians eligible to provide animal care services. And I provided you a packet of literature. Because of my observations in my 25 years as a veterinarian, I urge the legislature to pass a bill like SB 577 and create a safe harbor in which animal owners can elect who to hire when they want care provided. This is something that's afforded to parents who want to take their children to people other than an MD. And as this gentleman said, our pets are our children, just the same. I'd like to give you my background so you'll have some confidence in what I have to say. I went through the DVM program through UC Davis, so I'm aware of how veterinarians are trained. I have my master's in preventive medicine, so I understand how to interpret data collected from research and surveys. I've worked for many years in South Sacramento in small animal clinics. I started and managed a vaccination clinic for 5 years. I started and managed a low-cost spay-neuter program for 3 years. I worked for VIP Pet Care as a contract veterinarian doing high-volume vaccinations for 9 years. I also worked for 3 different shelters in the local counties and cities. Thus, I know how pet owners, what pet owners need and what pets need. I also did the food animal track and vet school and run a nonprofit ranch that houses horses, cattle, sheep, pigs, parrots, chickens, ducks, goose, and a llama, and a donkey. Thus, I know something about what it takes to care for more than just dogs and cats. I know something about the inner workings of the vet board and the CVMA. I actually wrote the CVMA's first regulatory manual and in the process attended their meetings. I worked as a consultant for the vet board to help with the backlog of complaints against veterinarians. It only took me a few months to clear up several years of languishing complaints. The staff will always claim that they have too few employees, but I was struck by the inefficient way complaints were handled and time managed in the office. I also saw a letter sent out recently by this department in response to a complaint. The letter not only must have been sent to the wrong practice, but gave 2 different names for the animal in question. Thus, quality control is apparently still a problem with this office when it deals with complaints. I was also uncomfortable with the way disciplinary hearings were held and the decisions that seemed to be irrational. Apparently, things have not changed in the last 20 years. I've included in your packet a letter from the Veterinary Defense Association from the 2013 Sunset Review hearing with the permission of the VDA. It cites the same problems I saw during my time with the vet board. I have not seen any evidence that these issues have been resolved. It should be noted that the veterinarians on the board are also all based in high-end small animal clinics. This is not surprising since few solo practitioners, especially in large animal practice, can afford to be away from their practice to attend board meetings. The vet members of this board's goals are to elevate the status of veterinary medicine to that in human medicine. They enact regulations that just do not work well outside the rarefied world. The vet board has an inordinate fascination for conducting sting operations as well. I worked for UC Extension evaluating data collected by the vet board in sting operations when they worked with the California Food and Ag on a drug residue program. The board spent 1.5 years collecting data that was pretty much worthless. Not only are these sting operations a waste of resources, they are conducted in what could be considered an unethical manner. The mentality of the vet board is one of a bully. I've seen a screenshot of a post about the harassment of an anesthesia-free dental service by the vet board, and that's included in your packet. In your packet also is a letter from a witness on a sting operation on an artificial insemination service. You'll also hear from Tony Basil, who experienced this as well. He's here today. The vet board takes to heart.
I ask you, you gave us quite a bit of information here
right.
that I'm happy to read and look through. So if it's not necessary to go through it all. If you want to make some major points, it would be helpful tonight since it is kind of late in the hour.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Could you just summarize the points you'd like to make?
Sure, the CVMA is behind all this enforcement, and it's obviously a conflict of interest. You can see the webpage there from the CVMA page. The vet board and the CVMA claim that illegal services harm animals. This is not true. I've seen many more animals harmed by veterinarians than by non-vets, and I see this in the field. And I've included letters from people who'd rather go see non-vets than veterinarians because of their negative experience. One was a cow that was diagnosed as not pregnant, and it was, and they found an 8-month-old fetus in it, and that was by a veterinarian. So veterinarians don't know everything. The CVMA and the vet board have complete disrespect for other professions. They think that they know everything, and it's driven the cost of care past what most people can afford. That's why a lot of people won't go to vets anymore, and that doesn't help animals in it. So I run a nonprofit. I implore you to consider a bill like SB 577. I'm just a veterinarian who runs a nonprofit on a shoestring budget. I don't have money for lobbyists. I don't have money for fundraising or for advertising or anything, but I know what's right and what is compassionate. And the vet board does not have the ability to regulate its own veterinarians. It should not be entrusted to regulate non-veterinarians as well. And so please consider the SB 577 for vets.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming tonight, too. Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
My name is Angela Sanchez-Harris, and I'm the founder and director of a 501c3 horse rescue and sanctuary named Mag Sevens in the Sacramento Valley here.
Put the microphone down a little bit more so I can hear you. Thank you.
Out there.
Thank you.
Today I speak on behalf of all the abused and abandoned and neglected horses, along with those people who dedicate their lives to caring for these animals. We operate through the generosity of many kind-hearted people who attend fundraisers and who donate their time to attend to the needs of our rescued horses. Recently, I've been informed that the individuals who help us tend to wounds, care for, emergency care and that type of thing, who are not licensed veterinarians are operating illegally. These Good Samaritans are people who float teeth and so they can gain their weight and regain their health. They're people who will trim hoofs so that a horse will be able to stand properly or even stand. These people are knowledgeable. As was said earlier, the cowboys know more about this. They've been doing it forever. And I'm not saying that a veterinarian does not know. They're very knowledgeable people. But these are on hand and they're providing us with service that we can afford. They offer their service and their time to help care for the unwanted animals. These horses that I speak of have no voices, they have no owners, and they have no one to pay their vet bills. They need you to help us continue protecting sanctuary horses by passing a safe harbor bill. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your coming this evening, or all day probably you've been here. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Jose Regalado, and I'm the vice president of a horsemen's group based out of Wilton, and our name's Caballeros of Wilton. And we work to preserve the Mexican culture and horsemanship and family values and whatnot within our community. We participate in several community events, parades. We did a toy drive at Sacramento Children's Home this year. Trail rides, among other things. I'm here to speak in favor of a bill like the one that's been proposed here by California Alliance for Animal Owners' Rights. Currently, there are many horse owners in the Mexican-American community who struggle just to have the privilege of owning a horse. To be honest, keeping a horse is very expensive.
Yeah, I've heard.
So that being said, these people do greatly care for their animals. And as many people have said, they see them as their family. Unfortunately, they're not able to afford the expense of paying licensed veterinarians oftentimes. For every time, a horse has fallen ill or has had some type of injury. So do their horses not deserve treatment? It's a question you have to ask yourself. I have personally witnessed a lack of dental care, among other things, provided to animals simply because of that lack of funding. If you know about horses, you'll know that when they have trouble with their teeth, they have trouble eating. So that's why they lose weight. And so that's something that's very simple that someone that has done it in the past for quite some time, for instance, Tony here knows how to do it, can do rather simply and help that horse to gain weight again. So some people are able to afford the most basic care, or something that's like in a life-threatening situation. Others, they simply have to just say a prayer and hope for the best, see if the horse can pull through. In situations like this, when the opportunity for unlicensed care is available at a low cost and presented, this is a perfect opportunity for that to take place. I'm sure you know, anytime you call out a vet, there's a fee just for them to show up. That's aside from anything else. So if our goal is truly to benefit the welfare of our animals, then we must preserve the ability to provide this unlicensed care, for all these types of situations. Many horse owners are actually more comfortable with people that have been out in practice rather than have this license. They're highly trained, although they don't have the license. They've had the school of hard knocks, if you will. They've actually been out in the field. They've actually performed these things. They know what's worked and what hasn't worked because of the experience that they've had over the years. So we've been made aware recently that this is illegal activity and that there's fines associated with that and perhaps even some jail time and whatnot. So requiring only licensed care would be a detriment not only to horses in particular, but other farm animals or large animals, but also, even to some domestic pets, which are a lot easier moved to a veterinary clinic. So I would ask that, you consider this safe harbor laws to protect those animals that have a lot of trouble. One of the biggest things that I saw just in listening to what's been said up here today is veterinarians often come out, and although they've been taught as far as what a book says, that's great, but how do you handle a horse? I mean, I've had my vet that's been around for a long time come out, and he does a lot of work at the track and whatnot, very experienced and whatnot, but I had a horse that was a little wild, new horse to the ranch, needed some treatment because he stepped on a nail. Horse didn't know how to, he didn't know how to get a hold of the horse well enough to even vaccinate him. I had to do it. So you can imagine situations where, someone like me or someone, a cowboy that actually knows how to handle this horse so that he can get that injection in, what's that guy going to do?
Okay. Thank you very much. Interesting. Yes? Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here to listen to us. My name is Megan Murphy. I have been certified as an equine massage therapist since 1998. I've been working on horses and dogs and people sometimes, but I'm also certified in that too. I'm here to support the idea of letting us help the horses live and live longer and healthier lives as much as we can. And I've never heard a horse doing my massage stuff, and I can't imagine how the board is preventing us from doing anything to the horses. And I would also like you to know that the vets aren't always an expert on everything. I had a horse's teeth floated by a veterinarian that ended up spending 45 minutes with that horse's mouth pried open, which made that horse sore, and she was skinny, and she's never been the same since. That's been 3 years. So having a real dentist would have been smarter for me than going and having the veterinarian do dental work on the horse. So I look forward to having the dentist work on my horse in the future and hope this goes by well. I came here and spent a lot of time with you guys.
Thank you for coming. You did spend a lot of time with us today. But thank you very much for being here this evening and for your testimony. Yes, sir. And then,
first of all, thank you for being here for us. And I'm going to just start out with a quick bio of who I am. My name is Tony Basil. I've been practicing equine dentistry for over 40 years throughout the United States and internationally. I presented lectures and wet labs at Texas A&M, University of Georgia, Oregon, University of Washington, in Europe, University of Vienna, Hanover, Germany, and Prague, just to name a few. I've been on staff at UC Davis as their equine dentistry coordinator. My job was to teach students and staff proper equine dental care for horses. I have lectured in many veterinarian association meetings and conferences. I have taught equine dental short courses for veterinarians and served as president, vice president, and board member for the International Association of Equine Dentistry. And I am presently certified by the Equine Dental Providers of America. I have contributed material on equine dentistry in many equine magazines, authored chapters in many books, and I have developed instrumentation and treatment procedures for horses. My procedures and instrumentations are implemented in many veterinarian colleges and utilized by practitioners internationally. I work for veterinarians who book appointments for me for their patients, all right? My employers include board-certified surgeons, equine specialists, general practitioners, and veterinary universities. My issue is that the veterinary medical board, no matter what a person has done, doesn't want to hear anything. And actually, a couple of years ago, when I first came to California, about 10 to 12 years ago, there was a gentleman in charge of the board. His name was Gary Hill, I believe. All right? Gary Hill said to me, I can't wait till you get here. I'm going to be glad to have you on board. I want you to maybe work with us with a task force to try and get more people doing the equine dentistry the way you work. I have yet never touched a horse in the state of California without the veterinarian present. Never, once, okay? Gary Hill left the board, and about 5 years ago, the state of California, the Veterinary Medical Board, went after me for a whole number of charges, all right? They were not able to do anything. They came to I had to hire an attorney. I said, you know, my attorney came to me and he said, Tony, he said, I told them no, but I got to get an answer from you. They want you to pay $34,000 for the investigation, and they'll drop everything. Okay, and I said, well, I'm glad you said you didn't think I was going to do it, because no, I'm not doing it. Did you catch what I said?
I'm just getting clarification from him, and the questions I have are related to what you're saying, so that I have a better understanding of what you're talking about.
Okay. So they asked me to pay for the investigation, which was at the time $34,000. I said no, and they came back a couple of months later, and on my vehicle, I had Tony Basil, my name, Equine Dentistry, working with veterinarians to help horses, and the UC Davis logo. That was on my vehicle, all right? My attorney said, Tony, now they're just saying they'll let everything go. You got to pay a $1,000 fine for the word dentistry on your truck. And I said, I don't want to do it. And he said, well, Tony, we can go to court over this, and you can pay me $15,000 for a week in court, or you can pay $1,000 and be done with it. I paid the $1,000. So what's my issue? I'm ready to retire, all right? But it still bothers me that the veterinary board is still doing the same thing. They're bullying people. I mean, I have a letter here from a veterinarian who meant to come today, but she does have 5 kids, all right, and they're on swim teams, so she couldn't come this late in the day, all right? And she called the state board and wanted to know, is it legal for me to work with Tony Basil? And they told her she had, now, they didn't tell her yes or no. They said to her, she has to read the laws. She said, well, I have read the laws, and they're kind of, you know, there's kind of gray areas, all right? So they said, well, have an attorney look at it. Now, what good is a board if you're a veterinarian licensed by the board and you call up to ask a question and they can't give you an answer? So that's basically why I'm here today. I'm here today in support of these people who are trying to get people who can't afford top health care, okay? There's a lot of guys that run around and just file on horses' teeth, floating the teeth, it's called, all right? And there's nothing wrong with that to help people like this that have a farm, it's a rescue center, you have a horse, you can't afford it anymore. A couple of years ago when we had the problem with, you know, the economical problem, I had clients that were telling me, like, they went down in the morning and there was another horse in their paddock. People were like dropping horses off. Then I go up to ride at Cronin Ranch with my wife. People coming back from a trail ride, finding a horse in their trailer because people can't afford to get the horse taken care of, so they're just leaving it. And it's, you know, people, the way some people will drop off a dog riding down the highway, well, you can't really do that too easy with a horse, but they did. So that's what I'm here for today. I'm here trying to get this safe harbor, you know, and help people out.
You made your point very well.
Thank
you. And you're too young to retire, Mr. Basil. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Marilyn Jasper. I'm president of the Humane Society of the Sierra Foothills and chair of Public Interest Coalition. I'm just going to cut to the chase. We urge you, we recommend that you support issue number 8 as recommended by staff. And I think I heard you say that you will be making a decision on these later. Is that correct? Or was that not?
We will not make any decisions.
You're not making any. So we may still give you input
Sure.
down the line. I think that would, in the essence of time, I think that would be better for everybody.
Thank you very much. We made good points tonight, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much for being here and for spending the time and sharing your thoughts. It's kind of a different approach, a different angle than what I was accustomed to hearing. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the board for the second time? I know.
Yes, but I walked away without giving you letters that I brought from.
Oh, you could probably give it to the sergeant over there. He'll take them.
Okay,
He'll hand them out for us.
Written testimony for you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Anyone else care to speak? Thank you. It's nice to see you. Thanks for coming tonight. Well, hearing no one, we will adjourn the hearing. We will have one more Sunset Review hearing in a couple of weeks on the 28th of March. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for your patience today, and we are adjourned.